Okay, so as I was editing this video, I really had no idea what I was gonna title this video, but I think the title of Japanese knives are way too cheap is a good title. And if you watch the entire video or just watch the first 5 minutes of the video, I think that you will come to the same conclusion. From my experience, making a knife or hand forging a knife has definitely been, I would say, the most dangerous thing I have ever done in my life, and definitely the most difficult. I'm gonna unbox this at the very end of the video or towards the end of the video because I think you have to watch the forging process or the attempt of me trying to forge a knife to fully appreciate what I'm going to show you here. Now, this is a confession from me. Me showing you this video is essentially shredding every ounce of pride I have because you're gonna see me struggling so hard and having a really difficult time forging a knife. Okay, and for those of you who don't know who Manaka Kisake is, he is a renowned knife maker, an amazing knife maker. He lives in Saitama, or actually in Kasukabe, Saitama Prefecture. So Manaka-san actually knows who I am from my YouTube videos, but at this moment, what's happening here is my translator explains to Manaka-san that I am also the owner of perfectionstore.com. Now, Manaka-san didn't put two and two together, and he just, he was a little surprised at me being the owner, and his reaction is priceless. And I just want to say I'm very honored to be able to sell his knives on my e-store.
パーフェクションストア
はい。
パーフェクションストア
はいはい。
そうです。そうなんですか
そうです。
なんか、
はい。
あれ嘘いっぱい注文してくれる
So just then he went to his order list. He has a kind of a clipboard on the other side of that door, and it has all the orders that his customers have given him. And he's explaining that when I order from him, I order huge quantities of knives, and he's just commenting on that.
ベリーベリー
Big order.
Thank you 全然知らなかったそっか
Okay, so right now he's taking us to his storage, his warehouse section where he has his knives. He also apparently makes tools for farming and for agriculture, which is very prominent where he lives. These are called the N, and they are his top of the line knives. They sell for, I want to say, over $2,000 a knife, and they are absolutely gorgeous. And this is the katana style slicer that he has, and it is just it's magical. All right, so I'm about to step into the dragon's den. Manaka-san is gonna start teaching me how to forge. So I got glasses, I got gloves, and something to burn. He wrote an email to me. He says, wear something that you can burn, so, that you don't mind burning. So this is what I'm wearing. It's just a thermal. I didn't wear a hat, but this will work. All right, let's get started. So right now he's explaining to me, he's basically giving me a really quick tutorial as to how to ensure that you can hammer straight. So he says, take this little billet and hammer it on both sides. And he's basically making sure that I'm able to hammer the billet straight. And it's actually more difficult than it looks.
ゆっくりでいいんで、はい
All right, so you guys all saw how easy that was, right? Yeah. Just wait and see. All right, so right there, he's explaining to me there's a high risk, a real risk of actually basically losing an eye. You're holding on to the stock, and as it hammers, you come off angle, and it kicks up that stock into your eye. And he's explaining to me what the dangers are. And at that moment, I realized maybe I should not be here right now. All right, so before we start, I have to say that if you know me outside in my daily life, you will know that I rarely ever hesitate. You're about to see me hesitate for a long time.
ゆっくりアクセルはゆっくり
Axel is very slowly.
I can't find that friction point where it's the perfect balance between striking too hard or too soft, or not being able to strike the stock at all. And it feels like every single time I lift off the pedal, when I bring the pedal back down, that point changes. So I'm not able to fully get a good understanding of where to stop and to find that balance, because it was, like I said, this was the most difficult thing about using the spring hammer. Was I just had no control over how much tension to put onto the pedal and how much force the hammer would give me. Okay. Another really difficult thing is essentially the anvil, that platform that I'm hammering on. It's not flat. It's got a slight indentation to it, so it slides.
でもう一個
So we went from the hammer, and he's showing me now how to actually hand forge with the hammer. This is just as difficult in a different way. So if you have never seen a monkey use a hammer, you're looking at one. Okay, this is, oh, it's so embarrassing, because I know that if you shorten your grip, so if you bring your hand closer to the head of the hammer, it'll be much easier to use the hammer, especially when you're really trying to control and get a lot of power behind you. That all went out the window. Alright, so what you're seeing there now is Manaka-san is saying, hey, you're not generating enough power with one hand and holding the stock at the same time, so I'm going to hold the stock for you, and you just hammer as hard as you can. So I was feeling good right there for a second, but I don't think I'll ever do that again. Like, I don't think you'll ever see that sort of control for the rest of the video again. I think I just got lucky in this one section right here. So what he's doing now is he is essentially creating a fold, so I can put the aogami steel, I think it's aogami, the cutting steel into the center between the cladding. So this is what you would refer to as sanmai construction. Essentially there's 3 layers. You have the cutting layer, which is the center, and then you have your cladding on the sides. Now this is way, way harder than it looks, because as I'm hitting, I have to keep this billet completely perpendicular to my hammer, because if you are twisting that billet in any way, it creates a warped line, where the line isn't straight. It could be curved, or one side can end up larger than the other as far as the cladding goes, and it just is really difficult, and I am struggling big time right here. Now, here's also the other problem. Once your groove is skewed in one direction or the other, it's really difficult to correct. And that is what I'm attempting to at this point. I'm seeing there is an unevenness in the groove, and Manaka-san says, try to fix it, right? He's just letting me go and learning on my own, but it is really hard to fix at this point. I don't know how he does it, but I could not keep the stock in the center. As I'm hammering, it's falling out, and he just does it so effortlessly. I don't know how he did it, and it's very frustrating to do when you're there, but he had to correct it. He basically got it started for me because if I didn't do it this time, I think actually we'll lose the stock. So he had to just make a really quick correction and get me started because I was not able to achieve that on my own. All right, so we just finished the first part of today's lesson, and it's the forging. It is one of the hardest things physically that I've ever done. So we get a 5-minute break now, get some water, and then we're gonna head back in. And I don't really know what's next, but I'm guessing we're gonna flatten out the billets that we made, or the cladding. So I'm guessing we're gonna make the blade chip at this point. But yeah, I am looking like a fool right now, but it's all good. Catch you guys in a minute. So the difficult thing about this section, this part of the forging process, is that as you're hitting, the stock is now flattening, but as it flattens, it also warps. It tends to bow in the center because it's being pushed by the spring hammer down and the material is coming up on the sides. So you're constantly moving around, up and down and around the edges to keep it flat. Way harder than it looks. And it gets even harder to actually stand the material up because now you have less of a, there's no flat surface essentially to stand the knife on or the blade on. And so you're hammering down and the blade is trying to twist and torque on you as you're hammering it. And also your hammer tension, your pedal tension has to change between the flat side, hammering the flat side, and hammering the top side. And so you're constantly adjusting not just your hands, the sides of the blades, but you're also adjusting the pedal, force on the pedal, all at the same time. And I love my translator. He's talking to me. You can see it on the you can see in the video. He's doing this with his hands, right? He's flipping his hands. But little does he know, or little does he, I think he just doesn't realize this, but my eyes are on the hammer. I'm trying to not get my hands, get caught in a bad place. So I'm not focused on him. So he's speaking to me. His English is good, but I can barely hear him. And so it's kind of a comical situation where he's telling me what to do. He's telling me what to do. He's saying flip here, hit the tip, hit the flat, hit the tip, and I'm just trying to stay alive at this point. So this is weird because you can see that as I'm hammering, the tempo of the hammer actually changed, and that is part of using a hammer that is so old, is that normally you get this this hammering action that's bang, 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 right? But in this case, it started doing, and I don't know, I'm pretty sure it was my fault, but because of my hesitation and my inability to keep a constant pressure on the pedal, it's going like bam, 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 bam. All right, so this really is a monkey hammering something because I have no power. I'm generating no power. I'm timid. But anyways, what I'm actually doing right here is I am putting the tsuchime marks, the hammer marks, on the profile of the blade. So when you buy knives from Manaka-san or other knife makers, you'll see they have like beautiful patterns on the profile of the blades. This is how they do it. It's done by hand. All right, this is really embarrassing because I'm sweating so much. It's like it's coming through my shirt in this area. Yeah, so you can draw any conclusion you want from there. You can probably see this, but the hammer is literally sliding with every strike, and it's my left hand. That's my. I'm technically a lefty, so my left arm is stronger than my right. So I'm gripping this with my left because that's where all my grip power is. And every time I strike the hammer, the the blade slips because I have really at this point I'm just holding enough holding with enough force to keep the blade from falling off. I don't have enough grip power, grip strength to actually keep it from sliding as I'm hammering. This is how you are supposed to hammer a blade. Before the knife actually goes into getting hardened, it goes through a cutting. So he cuts it, and he basically cuts it into a specific shape. So he cuts to the rough shape of it, but now you actually grind away, and basically you now grind along the chalk line, which is drawn onto the billet. And so it's crazy because there's a grinding wheel, there's two grinding wheels, and they're belt driven, right, by the same belt system that is on the ceiling. But if you're not careful and you walk and you don't look where you're going, you can trip. You can actually knock your head into a belt and get thrown down to the ground or onto the grinder. This is actually quite dangerous. How do I explain this? This is a really interesting section because from a strength standpoint, it doesn't require a lot of strength or muscle, but it requires a lot of finesse and a lot of control. So I'm sitting on a tiny platform that's virtually the same level as the ground. So imagine yourself sitting on the ground and your knife is on top of a brick. And you have to essentially pivot the blade in such a way or pin it in such a way where it's going against your shin. And not the most comfortable position to be in, but I had to make it work. I believe, if I remember correctly, I engraved my name Ricky, R-Y-K-Y, in a kanji style engraving. All of his knives are hand sharpened by him, and they're incredible knives when it comes to the profile, the sharpness, and you can see why. It is now time to open up the box, and I'm excited for this because now I actually get to I get to see what I made. Let's make this happen. You guys will be hearing about this project very soon. You'll be the first to see it, okay? Oh. This is the blade that I forged and engraved my name on. Oh, it's so cool. Look at that. This is my very own blade. And it's been heat treated. Manaka-san finished the grinding, and the blade is not, it's got a rough grind in it, but I'm gonna touch it up on the whetstone. Oh, it's a bunka. I told Manaka-san I love bunkas, and so he took one of my knives. I only grounded, I ground one knife, and the other one wasn't grounded, and he turned it into a bunka. It's got my Ricky engraving on it. Oh man, this is priceless to me. This is so cool. Check this out. Look at that. Ah. Oh man. Oh my goodness, this is something else. So Manaka-san makes an ATS blade, which is what this one is here. It's the ATS core steel. I want to say it's stainless, and it's heat treated to a 64 on the Rockwell scale. This one was the one that he let me hammer after it was forged. And oh my gosh, this is so cool. I didn't know he was gonna send me this one. Oh my goodness. That is beautiful. Man, this is his 210 millimeter knife. And just look at the finish on this thing. Just look at that. Just absolutely gorgeous, gorgeous knives. Oh man. So these are going to be added to my personal collection. I'm going to install handles on them. These knives, the ones that were made by me, that were forged by me, I'm going to install handles on them and use them on an everyday basis because they deserve that. And oh, this is so cool. Ah, well, I have to say, and this is, you know, I can say this because these are knives that I will not sell ever. You will not be able to buy these knives. There is a connection that I have with them that I will never have with any other knife. And I just want to say arigatou gozaimasu to Manaka-san, and thank you very much for allowing me the honor and the pleasure of being able to learn and to spend a day with you in your forge, and it was just the most amazing experience. If you have the ability to learn knife making or at least try knife making, it will give you a different appreciation for knives. Not just Japanese knives, but for knives in general. And you'll just have a much greater appreciation for those who actually make knives for a living. And Japanese knife makers who are forging their knives one at a time are not charging enough. And I will stand by that. Tell me what you think about that statement. Give me your opinions, whether you agree or disagree. Definitely want to hear your thoughts on this. But if you want to see the entire session of me in the forge, let me know in the comments. I will swallow my pride and post that. And it will definitely give you some laughs and will definitely humble me a little bit more than I have already been humbled. None of these knives are for sale, but if you guys want to see what knives that Manaka-san makes, go to perfectionstore.com. I will leave a link in the video description as well as the pinned comment. You can check out his knives. Very beautiful knives and just a really humble guy, really great guy. And I love supporting makers like him. That is it for this video. Thank you for being here, and I'll catch you in the next one.